What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of RAW and UNCUT, New York sports, where we talk about the Mets, the Nets, and the Giants. In this episode, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts, my reaction on Steve Nash being hired as the Brooklyn Nets head coach. I know I haven't talked much about the Brooklyn Nets on this channel. If you follow me on Twitter at RAW UNCUT New York Talk, I didn't give the Nets much of a chance at the bubble. I kept saying a minimum of 12 games was what they were going to play. I just wasn't expecting much. I was a little bit shocked at how well they played. Of course, some of the games they played against teams that set their starters, in the second half of games. But nonetheless, I think they played well together regarding everything, right? Being short players, new head coach, all, just not being able to play in Brooklyn. So, considering everything, I think the Nets did pretty well at the bubble. Some players regressed a little bit. They didn't show as much as I wanted to see from them. Other players stepped up in crucial times in games and played well. So, when we put everything together, that was the best they can do with what they had. So we couldn't expect any more than what they gave. And now we move forward, and the Nets now have a brand new head coach. Steve Nash will be leading the way in the locker room. Here are my thoughts about this. Number one, if you have watched my video from a few months ago, I made a video pretty much explaining why I thought Coach Pop was the right coach for this Brooklyn Nets team. Now, this Nets team has the potential to look completely different. Okay, it has the potential to just be overhauled in a way. Okay, but we'll probably be seeing a lot of the players that are currently on the team back with the team next season. Okay, so if you saw that video, I still think to this day, even after hiring Steve Nash, that Coach Pop is the right coach for this team. And the two main reasons that I gave was, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Okay? And when we look at this team and we mention those two names, Durant and Irving, the managing of those two players is very important. Now, I understand Steve Nash has a relationship with Kevin Durant. He's also a point guard with Kyrie, like Kyrie Irving. So, there's a relationship there. There's a chance that, Steve Nash is just going to find ways to improve Kyrie Irving's game, if that's even possible, because he's already good. But I think the behind the scenes stuff, just the locker room and who's going to take charge of the team and who's going to be drawing up the plays and calling the plays and this and that, I think that matters a lot. So, Stephen A. Smith mentioned how, the Nets didn't hire a minority and, they went with a first time, no experience head coach. And then Sean Marks today responds back with, or I don't even know, it might have been the same day that Stephen A. Smith said this, but Sean Marks' response is that they made the right hire right now, for right now. And I couldn't disagree anymore. Okay? Because right now you have two players that demand attention, that have a voice, and I don't know that a first-time head coach is suited for that. And that's why I thought Coach Pop was the right hire for right now. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in 2 seasons, in 2 years when, KD's and Kyrie Irving's contracts are up. Are they going to re-up? Are they going to bounce on us? Is KD going to want to go back to the Thunder? Is he going to want to go play closer to home in Washington? Is Kyrie going to want to go back to Cleveland? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. Okay? So, for right now, give me the proven head coach. Give me the head coach that has won the titles. Give me the head coach that has molded a franchise into winners. Give me a head coach that is well respected. I don't know. I don't have any inside information. I don't know what it's like between KD and Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash. I'm fucking thinking about wrestling. Steve Nash. I don't know what their relationship is like. It could be a really close relationship. But if I had to choose a proven commodity over an unknown, give me the proven commodity right now, because I want to win right now. So when Sean Marks says he hired the best person, right, that he possibly could for right now, I don't believe that. I don't believe that Steve Nash is the guy. So I'm really on the fence about this move. And look, maybe I'll warm up to it. Maybe I'll warm up to Steve Nash as time goes on and the roster kind of starts to shape out a little bit, because this is really, we're at the this is the very beginning stages of everything that's about to happen with the Brooklyn Nets. Because like I said, the roster could be a complete overhaul come before next season, okay? Except for, a few players here and there. But so this is just the beginning, all right? So you can call this an overreaction or whatever, but I'm going to stick to my guns. And, I don't know about you, but Coach Pop would have been the perfect hire, plain and simple. So, like I said, right now I'm really in between. Steve Nash will, should improve this club. Also, another reason I think Steve Nash is or was hired is because of the shape of the NBA, right? This is no longer a Greg Popovich style of NBA. This is more of a Steve Nash style of NBA, right? This is run and gun, up and down the floor, shoot a lot of threes. And so I believe Steve Nash style of basketball and what he can incorporate into this team is more geared towards what the NBA is like right now, right? Greg Popovich it's just a different style of basketball, and I don't think that's the direction that the Nets wanted to go to. Another thing to consider is the Nets were a brand, right? But now the Nets are becoming a global brand. And, you pick a guy like Steve Nash, who's younger than Greg Popovich, right? It's a lot easier to promote a younger guy, right? A little cleaner, who might not be outspoken as Greg Popovich is, which I don't find to be a bad thing, by the way. But if you're trying to globalize your brand, right, it's all business at the end of the day. So I understand all that, and I don't have a problem with that. I just don't want to sacrifice that part. I don't want to sacrifice the product that we put on the floor and what we're going to get out of a head coach for other things. But So I think that we have to consider that a little bit. Of course, the Nets not going to come out and say that, but that's just what I think. I could be 1,000% wrong. I am 1,000% wrong 99% of the time, but that's just my thinking. Overall, Steve Nash, I don't know. I'm gonna save my. I have to save my, my complete thoughts on Steve Nash because I have to see how this roster is really built out. I am glad that Jacque Vaughn got to stay with the team. I'm glad. I think it's huge by his part that he agreed to stay on with the Nets because I would have to imagine that there would be other teams that might come calling to Jacque Vaughn. So I'm really glad that the Nets chose to keep him and that he agreed to stay in Brooklyn. I think that's huge, and that should really help the roster. That should really help Steve Nash a little bit. I think those two will work very close together. And obviously, Kevin Durant and Kyrie will have a lot of say on what goes on with the Brooklyn Nets and how they move forward to building this team. So I'm excited, okay? Even though I don't agree with the hire, I'm excited because if you haven't by now, in Sean Marks, we must trust. I think what he's done in his time with the Nets has been just invaluable, man. There's no value to the turnaround. The turnaround that he's done with this team is really impressive because we were such in a deep hole before Sean Marks came on board, and it felt like we were just gonna be stuck there for a long time. But it's been a complete change in the right direction of these Brooklyn Nets, and so there's a lot to look forward to. I hope that we really, it's gonna be a really important off season for us to get this right and just build a very good roster that complements everybody. It can't be ISO ball. It can't be just give the ball to Durant or to Kyrie. We have to build something that that each player complements each other. Like, we have to build a team. This is not just let's cater to one or two or three players' strengths and forget about everything else. This is a very important time in Brooklyn Nets history because we could see a nice little run from these Brooklyn Nets in the next few seasons. So that's all I got for this episode. I know I haven't talked about the Nets a lot. Just wanted to give you a quick reaction on the Steve Nash hire. I will try to, as stuff comes out with the Brooklyn Nets and the off season moves along, I'll come out with some more stuff. Don't, like I said before, don't expect any breaking news because this is not what this channel is about. But I like giving my reactions and my thoughts, and so yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Catch me on the next one. Until that, keep it raw and uncut.